Hello, everyone. I am here to break down one of the most crazy announcements that I've ever done as an immigration lawyer, as the express entry lawyer. Today, IRCC announced one of the most unbelievable draws, extending invitations to apply to over 27,000 candidates under the Canadian Experience class. 27,000 with a low score of 75. This was a surprise draw on a Saturday. And in this video today, I'm going to break down exactly what it's about. We're going to talk about the draw itself. Why did this happen? What the impact is for you in Canada under the Canadian Experience class, the impact of this massive draw on you outside of Canada, and what this impact is going to have on the various provincial nominee programs. I'll see you in a bit. All right, who would have ever imagined? So we're going to talk about this today. The draw. Why in the world would IRCC do this? Why would they go out of their way to extend so many invitations to apply to people in Canada? Can you imagine this? A CRS score of 75, the number of invitations is just off the charts. You know, why would they create this express entry surprise draw now? Well, I'm going to give you guys one little pointer. If you go back to, and I'm just going to flip back to the YouTube channel here. If you go back to the video that I did just last week on Saturday called Express Entry, what will happen in 2021? We're up over 5,000 views right now. Go back and I will get into specific details on why the government is doing what they're doing. I knew this was coming. I absolutely knew that was coming, but I never in my life dreamed that they would have extended invitations to this many people. So today, like I said, let's start off with this draw itself. Let's head over and let's take a look at this draw so that you guys can see exactly what I am talking about. So I'm just going to pull this up here quick. The rounds of invitations. I'm going to flip over and you guys can find it on your own screens. If you go over, you type in rounds of invitations, EE, it'll take you exactly where you need to go. This is it. This is what we're looking at. So today, a surprise draw. Immigration has extended invitations to virtually every person that was in the express entry pool under the Canadian Experience class. You can see right here, it's right here, 27,332, the lowest score of 75, and they indicate September the 12th, 2020 as the tiebreaker, but the reality is, I'm sure there was one person that had 75. So we're going to talk about this, but this is absolutely unprecedented. Never before have we had so many issued, and this is the whole new world that we're in, okay? So if we get back down, so the draw, that's essentially what it is. It's not for federal skilled worker programs. It's not for PNPs. It's not for those under the federal skills trade. It's specifically CEC. Everybody that has, and how did this happen? Everybody that has at least 1 year, and I'm going to pull this off so that I can clear my screen up a little bit for you guys. Everybody that has at least 1 year of skilled work experience and a minimum Canadian language benchmark of 5. That's it. Skill level B, no low skill, skill level B. How in the world do we get right here to 75 points? How do you qualify when you're 75? Well, the reality is that's how you do it, because you meet the minimum, the very bare minimum to get into the pool. And that one person was 75, or maybe there were multiples. Today is the most amazing, amazing day of their lives. All right, so let's dive in a little bit deeper. What we're talking about here next is, like, why did this happen now? Why? Like I said, you can flip back to the YouTube channel, the YouTube video that I did just last Saturday, and I break down what's going on with the government. The travel restrictions, you guys, right now are creating a situation where they can't get the number of people in that they need. Even though they started the process for Outlanders, they expected that they would be able to have people actually come to Canada, but that's not the case. They're being restricted because of Public Health Canada, who is restricting the number of people that are coming in. So in your situation, if you're an Outlander, you're just going to be stuck. Until those travel restrictions are lifted, you're not going to be able to come. The government has announced 401,000 as their target for immigrants for this year. How in the world are you going to reach that unless you start to find quick wins? Find people that you can quickly turn into permanent residents so that you can meet these unbelievably record-breaking levels that they have anticipated for 2021. How do you do that? You watch the YouTube video and I explained to you, the government is looking to temporary residents in Canada. Every single person that could potentially transition from temporary residence to permanent residence, they have just done it. And this is just the beginning. To reach that 401,000, they're going to need to look elsewhere. But this was the quickest win. Go to the CEC candidates that are in the pool, scoop all of them out. All 27,332 have received an invitation to apply or will receive it. Don't stress if you haven't got it yet today. As long as you're in the pool, you qualified for CEC. As long as you're above 75 or however many people that are right at that 75 level, as long as you're there, you will receive that invitation to apply. Now, with 27,000, it's going to take time, right? It'll take time. Before, it could take a couple hours. When it was 5,000, we're like 5 times that. So we'll leave that at that. Keep watching your emails for that amazing news. We are all out there celebrating. You know, everybody is cheering because this is absolutely unprecedented. Okay, next on the list here. Next on the list is, how does it impact people in Canada? Well, the first thing that you guys need to understand, if you're inside Canada, you have 90 days now to do this. You have 90 days to get your act together, to get this actually, your documents prepared, your EAPR ready to go. And for some of you, you never anticipated this. You may not even know how to get the documents. It's for that reason that I created my step-by-step course. In the description, you can go in, click on it, get in fast because I've got my course. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it, but it's designed to help people like you who just want to cut through the time. You don't have time to spend hours and days. I've got people in my course right now that's guided by me, private Facebook group, access to all of my course material. You can learn more by clicking on the link. It's guided by me, answering your questions, helping you through. It cuts through all of the mess all out there on the internet. It dives right deep into each of the areas that cause the most problems for people. And then the private Facebook group, well, that's where all the little gaps that you just don't know, they're all resolved in there. And it's all led by me, Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer. I'm really the express entry lawyer. That's really what I am these days. Okay, so you CECers, remember, immigration is ruthless. You've got one shot. You do not get a second chance to choose the proper knock. You do not get the second chance to fix your reference letter. You do not get a second chance if they return your application as being incomplete, because you will be back in the pool at that low level. If you're 200, 300, you will be back in the pool and you'll be wondering what just happened. And they refuse for the slightest reasons. They refuse if you upload a German police certificate that's black and white. If you upload that black and white copy when it should have been color, application gets returned. If you mess up with anything within your application, they're going to return it. Think of this. Just picture this. You've got an officer who's looking at her laptop. She's in her home. Her family's around. She's cooped up in some little small corner processing your application. She's got unbelievable pressure on her to process her share of this massive 27,000. Maybe this officer is a brand new hire. Maybe they're just figuring this stuff out, right? They're following the checklist exactly. They are not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You cannot rest on the fact that, oh, they'll be kind if I miss something. They will return it as being incomplete so that they can check off that they're keeping up to their quota. They're processing as quickly as possible to get all of you through this year. So immigration is ruthless. They have a one-touch policy. You CECers, you guys had better get it right first this time. You cannot afford to get it wrong. That's why I created the course. That's why I do consults with people. And as the express entry lawyer, this is why I've devoted my life to this. Since the very beginning, when it opened up January the 1st, 2015, I was right there doing this, figuring out, creating every resource I could to make sure you guys did not lose your dream of immigrating to Canada because of some small, inconsequential error or mistake that was completely innocent, but that results in an immigration officer saying, ha, this one isn't complete. I can refuse it, return it back as being incomplete, and I can move on to the next person. That's what you're dealing with. These poor officers that are cooped up in their homes trying to process your application. Your job is to make their job easy. My job is to make sure when you prepare your application that it is the easiest as possible for an officer to approve. That's what I do. All right. Next on our list, we have to talk about you outlanders. And I'm going to I just want to address something right off the bat for you guys that are outside Canada who are wondering, oh my goodness, the world has just shifted. What is facing me? Do I even have a chance? Is it even worth proceeding? Whatever you do, you guys, please do not listen to the haters out there. Do not give them 1 second of your time, because at 401,000 target, that's just for this year, 27,000 invitations under the CEC is not going to cut it. Now, yes, they've scooped out every person here because of the travel restrictions, but when those restrictions lift, you guys are going to be right back in this. So the people who trust, the people who take the time and make sure that they have got their profile in properly, the people that have done everything they can to maximize their scores outside of Canada, yes, you guys are held in abeyance. The travel restrictions are preventing you from coming. The travel restrictions are preventing immigration from processing your applications. Yes, all of that is true. But if you're one of those people that says, oh, I'm just going to give up and I'm going to wait till, all this settles, there's no point submitting a profile, you are going to get left in the dust. Those of you who have faith, who know that things are going to, they will open up. They will. You guys that have your profile in the longest are going to have the greatest chance of getting your invitation to apply when they open it up. All right. So understand there will be delays. There's no doubt about it. There will. You guys will be facing the reality that you are going to be stuck. Some of you are going to have, if you do get an invitation to apply, or some that are working through it right now, you're stuck. Maybe you've got an expired COPR. Maybe you are waiting for your application to be processed and it's just stalled out, not going anywhere. Do not lose faith. You are in. Immigration values you. You are no less important to them. It's just because of the world we're in, because of this crazy COVID-19, this pandemic, that you are not being able to come in and land. You're seeing huge delays with your applications. Don't give up. Do not be discouraged. If you've been issued a COPR and it's expiring, notify IRCC. Make sure they know that you fully intend to immigrate when you're able to, and your spot will not be gone. You will be protected. Those of you who are wondering if it's even worth it, my goodness, my scores, it's going to be so competitive. 468 was the lowest draw that we've had in a year, and that was after like 4 draws of 5,000. I'm sitting at 460. Am I ever going to have a chance? Is there any hope of me ever getting an ITA? Is it even worth it because of the competition? Yes, 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 yes. I will tell you that unequivocally, because after the immigration does this, there are always ripple effects to everything else, not just CEC. The benefits that flow to them, absolutely, hands down, this is a miracle. This is like the most unbelievable thing that you could see happening. But you have to appreciate, and as I pull this back up here, what about the PNPs? What impact is this going to have on the provincial nominee programs? Guys, these provinces have been looking inside. They've been transitioning foreign workers in their provinces to permanent residents. And in one swoop, all of those people that they were relying upon that weren't reaching the level to get an ITA, they were cherry picking each province. Alberta was the same. You look at Ontario, you look at all those provinces where there are employer-specific candidates who don't reach the level to get an ITA because the scores are too high. Maybe the individual is too old. Maybe their language scores aren't good enough. Maybe their education isn't good enough. Well, what immigration did in one swoop, they took people that have maybe a high school education, that are 50 years old, that have had 1 year of Canadian work experience, that language scores are at a CLB 5, and they have nothing more than that. They have taken them and given every single one of those people a chance to become an immigrant now. Those were the people that the provinces were feeding off of. They are the ones that they were getting the nominations. And yes, there were other streams, yes. But that's where the bulk of them were coming from. What has just happened? I look at the province of Alberta. I just got off a call 3 weeks ago with one of the officials of the AINP as I was preparing for a meeting that I was having with the immigration minister. Yes, Minister Mendicino. And I think you guys know, I'm an express entry lawyer, I'm an immigration lawyer, but I'm the national chair of the Canadian Bar Association. And part of my responsibility is representing all of the other immigration lawyers that are also members of the Canadian Bar Association. And so I attend meetings all the time with government, politicians, with the department heads, and with the immigration minister himself, all designed to try to advocate on behalf of you and what's happening for you. And so we saw this coming. But with all of that, I can tell you the provincial nominee programs now are going to be scrambling. Holy cow. They are going to be scrambling, trying to figure out how the heck are we going to fill our quotas when the government has scooped in and swooped out all these people. Like we're talking, most provinces have 6,500 given each year, each fiscal year. Some might be a little bit more, some might be a little bit less, but on average, that's what we're looking at. The province of Alberta decided they were only going to nominate 4,000. Well, that's fine. Even if they nominated people, this draw has now taken people who were going through a paper-based application process that could take up to 15 months. They've now received invitations to apply. And I can tell you, if I know my application is going to get processed in 6 to 9 months, I'm going to take that chance. I'm going to roll with that, and I'm not going to bother with the nomination from the province. Why in the world would you sit around when you can get it finalized faster? So that's what people are doing, and it's going to have massive ripple effects to all the PNPs. So what does that mean for you as an outlander? What does it mean for anyone who is looking to come to Canada? Well, there's going to be far less emphasis on people that have job offers, okay? They're going to have to open the doors up to extend notifications of interest to you guys. So tip number one, if you're an outlander, do not limit yourself to one province. Keep everything open. Click on all provinces when you're submitting your profile. And as you're doing that, the provinces are going to have to drift away from occupation-specific notifications of interest, like the OHIP, the Ontario Human Capital Priority Stream, the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program. They are going to, that Human Capital Priority Stream has been traditionally, very often, it's been program-specific, but I can easily see, and I shouldn't say program, occupation-specific. I can see them opening it up like they did in previous years where they choose an actual amount. I could see those open draws getting down to the 460s, maybe even lower, depending upon how many people they have to nominate. They're going to be all competing fiercely for you now. The world has changed. The landscape has shifted. The PNPs are going to have to be desperate to find people to fill their quotas after what IRCC just did. So those of you who hear people that are haters, that are saying, oh, it's all about in Canada, the federal skill program, is it dead? That is garbage. It is not. You have a chance. You have an opportunity. Do not be discouraged. Take advantage of it. And this is the world we're in. All right. This is Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer. I hope this was helpful. Remember, there is a pathway for everyone. Click on the link, subscribe to my course. The next one is starting February the 22nd. I'm finishing up my first one. I didn't intend to do one so quickly, but with 27,000 people, every single person deserves the right to get through my course, to get all the help they need, to get direct contact with me to answer those little questions that you have. That's what it's designed for. This is Mark Holthe, express entry lawyer, congratulating all of you amazing people. And I'm gonna, this is snow floating down here, guys, and I'm gonna turn on some music here because this is amazing. What an amazing world that we're in. All right, guys, Mark Holthe, express entry lawyer, signing off. Take care.